Hey, beautiful people. Listen. It's your girl, makeup artist DeShawn Hatcher, all the way from New York. I am rejudging myself. I am judging the entire time. So I'm running around like a mad woman. So I'm rejudging myself. Ignore the crap behind me. I am still in the middle of working on my office. We're so close to being done. I have a pile of Shiite right here, but I am almost done with this office. I'm so excited. So listen, sorry I missed you, beautiful people, last week, but your girl was like upstate New York, and then when I realized, I realized a little too late, I did not have a signal, and I was like, oh, what do you mean I don't have a signal? This is America. Well, so I didn't have a signal, and I just feel bad about missing you because I'd like to talk to you every Sunday. And oh, who is this? Hi, Yvette. Oh, hi, Yvette. Oh, good evening, DeShawn. Hi, Yvette. Good evening, sweetie. So listen, yo, Yvette. Today we have a question from the one, the only Miss Monique about the nasty practices of makeup artists and how it's kind of driving her insane. And so we're going to talk about that. But Miss Yvette O, if you haven't been here before, my darling, you know that after I answer these questions, I I answer everybody's questions. So I'm going to read Monique's situation because Monique comes with the drama. You know what I'm saying? She comes with the drama. So yeah, we're going to talk about just basic nasty ass hygiene issues, work issues that makeup artists tend to have. And if you have any questions, it doesn't have to be on that topic. You can certainly ask me. That would be fine with me. Okay. Brian Dean's in the house. Hi, Brian Dean. Hi, hey, DeShawn. Let's get into some things. Yvette, oh, I signed up for the speed class in September. Oh, hi, Yvette. Oh, yay. I see you soon. Oh, I am here for the hygiene. Yes. Okay, yes. So I'm going to, I have a different, you guys, well, if you haven't been here before, I have a different setup in the office. I have this whole contraption here. One of these days, I guess I have to take a picture. I'll take a picture and show you guys what the behind the scenes is here, but it keeps changing. That's why it's like, how do I do this? So bear with me. I'm going to flip. I have to get out of this screen, so I can't see you guys right now. So I'm going to read Monique's question. And yeah, hopefully, I suck at this. Listen. I suck at this. Okay. I suck at going in and out of screens because I'm always terrified that I'm doing something wrong. Okay. I'm going to click. I'm going to be brave. Okay. I think you still see me. Yes, you do, because I can see it. Okay. I can see the light still on. Okay. So Miss Monique says, hi, DeShawn. It's like exclamation point. Hi, DeShawn. She goes, at this point, I want to scream because I've been running into makeup artists that are not hygienic and so hard not to say anything. So I just got hired for a new job and I'm excited. The artists I met are really nice. Long story short, they wanted me to do makeup on a model as an interview, and everything was going smoothly until the senior makeup artist wanted to add a lip color on the model. I saw her take the lip wand from the actual lipstick and put it on the model's lips and put it back put it back on her makeup bag, okay? In my mind, I was like, no. And my mind immediately started to wonder how many clients have these lip wands been touching? Okay. How should I handle the situation? Because this is a new job. Well, Monique, we talk about the funk. We talk about the funk a lot. Oh, help me, Jesus. We talk about the funk a lot. Before I start, I'm going to say, hey, Nubian Princess. I cannot see Tettle. Hey, Tettle. Hi, Tettle. We have a blooper just on. You got this. Got you. Um, 1 second, my darlings. 1 second, my darlings. 1 second, my darlings. There we go. Ha ha, ta ta. Thank you, Brian Dean. Yes, okay. Right, that's a no. Brian Dean said, that's a no. Send it back to Sephora. Okay. I mean, that is okay. So there's a lot of issues going on right now. There's a lot of in her moment. There's a lot of things going on. One, it's a new person coming into a group setting, right? And I think we all have dealt with that, right, from time to time, where you're in a room full of makeup artists. I'm not used to it. I have to say it's not normal that I'm in a room full of makeup artists, but I'm always happy when I am because it's nice. I like to meet my peeps. So one, she's in a room full of makeup artists, and so she has to be, not nice, but you have to be, nice and somewhat amenable, and you need to get along with people, okay? And so that's the first thing. So she's in this weird conundrum where a senior person to her right now, because this is her first day or so, is doing some nasty shit, okay? So then what do you do? This is a senior artist. How do you speak to a senior artist? Do you know what I mean? This has happened to me where I might have said to that senior artist, I might have said, do you have any, and if my brain's farting, do you have any of those doe feet? Or do you need, I might have said to her, let's say Monique was my senior artist and she did that. I might have said to Monique, Monique, hey, that lip color is really pretty. And then she would have done her little job, because you can't do anything once somebody does something. But you might say, do you need some doe feet, lip applicators? I have some in my bag. I'd be very happy to give you some doe feet, if you need it. All we can do is kind of offer assistance at that point. We cannot tell the senior artist, listen, biatch, you're nasty. No, we can't do that. We can't do that. You know what I mean? So you can kind of, it's a very passive aggressive way of speaking to somebody, because in your mind, what's happening is you are screaming, nasty, right? But when you speak to them, you're calm and you're just kind of offering assistance. Do you see what I'm saying? So instead of saying, girl, what you doing? That's nasty. Don't be doing that. You could come at it in a more passive way, to help the situation. So that's one thing. The other thing is, when you see a makeup artist do things like that, you could, like I said, offer your assistance and or say nothing, and or when it's your turn to do something, you just don't do it that way. That's all. I dig it. I dig it that it's kind of like, it's nasty. What else can we say? It is straight up nasty. And it's a shame because our dynamics in our industry, there really isn't, how can I explain? There really isn't a standard for us, right? So I may be a senior makeup artist, right? I'm 22 years in the business, okay? And I might have been doing things my way, the DeShawn way, and it's all jacked up and nasty, okay? It's nasty. What are you gonna say to me? How you like? How you gonna tell me, DeShawn, your practice is nasty? It's hard, and it's also hard because I would be a senior person and I'm walking around doing all these nasty ass things, right? And it just feels awkward to have that kind of senior junior dynamic when the junior knows more than the senior artist does, and the junior is screaming in her head like she's trapped in some type of insane asylum. No, like, don't do that. Do you know what I mean? And so that's the dynamics that we're playing with in the situation. So it's not just that the person's nasty, it's a senior level person that is nasty. Do you see what I'm saying? It's a senior level. And that's where the funk comes in at. And We seem to talk about this a lot, about other artists and how they do things. Um, and if you can come in with the passive aggressiveness, the polite passive aggressiveness, and try to help a situation, that's one thing. But once the woman takes the wand out, once she takes the wand out and puts it on her mouth, it's done. It's a done deal. There's nothing you can do. But as soon as you could see that, as soon as you, like, if you're more observant, and let's say now Monique is dealing with her, now she's got the job, because of course Monique got the job. Monique is amazing. Okay. So now Monique has the job, and now the senior artist, now let's say it's me. So DeShawn's coming over, and I'm saying to Monique, oh, here, honey, you could use my lipstick, or you could use my whatever, right? I'm walking over to Monique, offering my things to Monique. What should be the first thing that comes into Monique's mind? The biatch is nasty. So you do not take a thing from the senior artist. You do not use their anything unless you have the opportunity to clean it. If you do not have the opportunity to clean it, do not use anybody's things when you see nasty practices, because I bet you $1 million that is not the only nasty thing that person does. It's not. Okay. And so you have to start thinking kind of outside the box. It's sort of like, you know, sort of like, I don't want to disparage anybody with cats, but it's sort of like people who, I remember when I was in corporate America, I got to sit up. I remember when I was in corporate America, and, used to have these potluck lunches. People would bring in their food, they made their food, and, and we had this one young lady who seemed to have a lot of cats. It could happen with dogs, but she seemed to have a lot of cats. And this type of person comes in and she got cat all over her. And then she brought in like this little food thing, and her hygiene wasn't the best. And so what do? Are you going to eat it or not? And that's really the question. Are you going to deal with this person's nastiness by handing you their lip gloss and say, yeah, you can use this? Or are you going to take that pastry? Okay. I didn't take that pastry. Okay. And then I found out later, she had invited somebody to her house. Listen to me, what I tell you. That girl came back and reported her house is filthy. It's filthy. It's filthy. It's filthy. Like, it was like alarms were going off, because she's been doing this potluck thing for years. Okay. So this is what we're talking about. So if you see a makeup artist with some funk, then you just avoid that funk. There's nothing you can do. You can't get the biatch fired. There's nothing you could do but avoid her at all costs, which means that you need to make sure your kit is up to snuff and everything, And also, it is imperative, I say this, you then, knowing, you already know that this person's nasty, okay? You do not then, she walks over to you, I'm DeShawn, I'm walking over to Monique, hey, Monique, can I borrow that lip gloss from you? And you think, oh yeah, sure, girl, here, right? You don't do that either. What you could do is say, sure, give me a minute. And you could take, this is not an ad, but this is perversion. This is my mascara. So what you could do is take out the lip gloss that she wants, and you could, take it out and put it on a steel palette. So you take it out, take it out, and say, here. And then take your thing and put it back in your kit. Do not say, oh, sure, here, and then give it to her. Okay? Don't give your stuff to a nasty makeup artist. We have to learn these lessons. And then basically what happens is she's going to see that you are hyper clean. You see what I'm saying? But it's up to you to control it. You don't want people rummaging through your bag. You don't want to allow people to borrow your things in a group setting in that manner. You are all for sharing, but at the same time, you will dull out what you want to give to those people. So does that make sense? Anything that I just said, does that make sense to you people? If it does, let me know. Okay. So let's see. New Princess. Hi. New Princess. We love our blooper, DeShawn. You got this. Yes, I do, Brian Dean. Thank you, honey. Thank you. But I love the assistance. You know what I'm saying, Brian Dean? Thank you, darling. Let's see. And Brian Dean says, that's a no. Send her back to Sephora. So Brian says, it's so important for hygiene to be the number one priority while dealing with a client. It should be as habitual as brushing our teeth. I hope. Yes, it should be. It should be something that we're all practicing. Do you know what I mean? That's something that but as Monique just gave us her lovely story, and as we all know, though, we all know that there's some nasty asses out there. Come on. We all know that. We've seen it with our own eyes. I mean, you go to Sephora, good Lord. I mean, I don't go to Sephora. Listen, she bougie. I don't go to Sephora without my own brushes. I don't go to listen. You would have thought I worked in Sephora. Now I don't go to Sephora much. I only go to Sephora now for recognizance, which means what I mean by that is like sometimes I'll go to Sephora maybe once a year because it's a collective of so many different brands, and so I'm taking notes and I'm testing colors and I'm doing all these things, and so that's why I'm there. I'm there to find out what's out, what's hot, what's popping. But if there's anything that I might want to apply or see how it looks on skin tones or whatever like that, I literally have my own brushes. I walk up to those Sephora girls and I'm like, excuse me, where's your cleaner? Where's your cleaner? And then I'm like cleaning everything. I'm scraping off the top layers. Oh yeah, she's cuckoo. And they just look at me like, what is she doing? But when I whip out my own brushes, they're like, damn. So, I'm like that. And then I go, where's your brush cleaner? I ask them where their brush cleaner is and all that stuff because I want to clean my stuff, all of it. I never do the lipstick. I never put lipstick on my mouth. I just got grossed out by myself. I never put lipstick on. I never do that. But sometimes I want to see the shading and how it takes off of a person of color to see how well it goes. So there was a couple of times when I was looking, doing research on what color was it? Black. Was it black or brown? Now I can't remember. Black or brown pencils, right? And I literally went through the entire Sephora and down my whole arm, I was marking all of their pencils. And you could see the variances in the shades of brown. I believe it was brown I was looking for. Yes, it was a brown pencil I was looking for. And it was a specific shade of brown that I wanted. And I literally had like 25 shades of brown down my arm to see if I can find a true brown. And I finally found a true brown, in cargo of all brands, because I was kind of avoiding cargo and going around to all the other lines. And then something said go to cargo. And then when I compared it, I was like, oh, that's it. And I was like, oh, wow, that was cargo. So I had been a cargo cosmetic girl for a while because that brown pencil was perfection. But I digress on my brown pencil. But you guys understand what I'm saying, right? That's what you do. When you're dealing with other people, you control your kit. You control the narrative. You do not allow people to go inside of your kit. You do not even if you're busy, that means it doesn't matter. Even if you're busy and somebody says, hey, can I borrow that lipstick? I want to, and then you take your spatula and you scoop it off and you give it to them. And that's why I also like to have a lot of steel palettes. I never just have one steel palette. I normally, when I'm working, I like to, let's say this is my kid is like, hey, kids over here. So let's say this is a steel palette, right? And I know that especially for you wedding people, I know that I'm working on 5 or 6 different individuals, right? I have 6 different steel palettes. I don't have just one. I have 6 of them for each person. When I was doing fashion and you had more than one model, you had to be very careful. So I had, how many models do I have? I would ask. They would tell me. And then I would have, each girl would have their own palette. Because the other thing is like you'll spend so much time mixing their foundation colors and mixing lipstick colors for them. And then I don't have it here, but basically what would happen is I would have all of these lined up on my table. And then what I tend to do is I tend to take a nail polish and do a spot of nail polish color here. So one might be blue, one might be red, one might be yellow, green, da 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 da. And so I have them just a little dot, no big deal. And so I know that, oh, the red is Susie's and the green is Mary's and the blue is Shaniqua's. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's all lined up and neat and ready to go, because you can't always wipe off a board. I call it board, but you can't always wipe off your palette and wipe it clean, because you might need it throughout the day. So you can't do that. I also would take a little bit of like saran wrap, if you may, and I would take it out and I would cover my palettes to keep it from the air. So because it has to sit out, so I cover it. Or I might even just take a piece, depending on if I had any saran wrap or I forgot to bring saran wrap or something, then I would take just a paper towel and I would gently just like lay it over, not push it down. And I would lay it over all of my palettes, you see, to ensure that nothing's, getting all funky on it. But these are all these weird practices that you will have to figure out for yourself. That's how I figured it out for myself, to keep myself clean and neat, and not crossing, not saying, oh, whose palette is this? What's this? So you have to do all these things to make sure that you're on point. But when you are in a group setting, you do not just hand your stuff over. I learned that the hard way. You do not hand your stuff over. You do not. Okay, so the first thing that we do now, because this is a new thing that we're doing, because y'all don't be giving me thumbs up later. So this is what we're doing. In the beginning, you give me thumbs up now. So YouTube knows I'm here, because I know y'all love the content and stuff, but YouTube needs to see stupid thumbs up. So not here in a chat room, but here on the little ticky. So give me a thumbs up. YouTube knows that I'm here and y'all love me. Okay. So thumbs up. I see 9 people in the room. I want 9 thumbs up. I'm paying attention. I want thumbs up. She's crazy. Okay. Let's see. Let me see. Layden. Hi, Layden. Hi, honey. Layden says, right, Brian Dean? See, I could hear you, Layden. Am I right, Brian Dean? That's what I heard. Some more. Hello, darling. Hey, DeShawn. So she said, Brian Dean says, offer the applicator like you offer a mint. Oh, I love it. Ooh, I love that. Offer an applicator like it. Would you like an applicator? I like that. That's very cool. Newman Prince says, I will test on my hand, but when I say I'm wiping it off in 10 seconds, listen to me. I feel you right there. But that's why when I go, I don't, I clean everything. Like you would thought I was a store employee. Like, I'm not cleaning, because that's a cesspool of nasty. So I'm always cleaning. I'm cleaning up everything. I'm grossed out. I'm just like, I think, you know what's so funny is, like, when I was a consumer, right? When I was just a regular girl who just loved makeup, right? She loves Sephora. I'm going to go do my makeup at Sephora. I have a date. I'm going to do my makeup, right? You didn't think not one thing of it. You didn't think conjunctivitis. You didn't think cold sores. You didn't think nothing like that. You thought pretty, right? And now as a makeup artist, Sephora is like, it's like when I walk in there, it's like germs are coming at me, diseases are coming at me. It feels like that. It's like, ah. So yeah, it's nasty. It's kind of nasty. So yes. So let me see, what else can we discuss? So do you guys understand when I say the steel palette trick that I'm talking about, where you have several steel palettes lined up, especially if you're dealing in fashion. Fashion is different from bridal, okay? Even though, because in bridal, you are doing the makeup, right? But the girl disappears. You don't need all the accoutrement after you're done with her. You just need powder, Um, and then you need probably one or two lip colors, which you can set up any old way you want, right? But with fashion, you need to have you would need to have their makeup out all day. Like I said, especially if you're dealing with a person of color or whatever, it makes life a lot easier. So you don't have to continually keep mixing, because and this is clearly before inclusion, but uh, I would have to mix my ass off. I was mixing like a mad woman. I was mixing like crazy. And so I always over mixed colors because I wanted it to be ready for, let's say, lunchtime. Because the thing about fashion that people don't seem to understand is that when you're doing editorials, magazine editorials, and yes, they still do magazine editorials, they're just online, they still take the same amount of time. You understand? Just because it's online doesn't mean that you were in the studio for 4 minutes. No, it still takes the same amount of time. If you see, I forgot who's online now, but if you see something that's online and it's like 16 pages and all this stuff, it's still normally 1 hour per page. Okay. So that means that if you see something that's I used to do very long fashion editorials. So it used to be 16 pages sometimes I would do. So that means that your girl, this one, was standing there working for about 16 hours. Do you understand? So it's like an hour per page. So if you see a 16-page spread, it's normally 16 hours. And so if you have somebody who's a little difficult or something like that in terms of shading or something like that, that's why it's lined up that way. So you don't have to continually keep mixing. It's all kind of laid out. Before a bridal party, like I said, when I'm doing a bridal party, which I don't do often, as you guys know, I'm straight up tell you the truth. But when I do them, each girl gets their own palette. And I also take my time. You always have to schedule in at least 3 to 3, however messy you could be. It depends on what you do, how you do it. I also schedule in at least 3 to 5 minutes to clean up. And I do not allow people to come over to me until I am fully cleaned up and my hands are clean and washed. So that kind of thing. Let's see. Hey, Monique. Girl, now at the top of the show, we were talking about you. So now, listen, sometimes, DeShawn gets right into it. You know what I'm saying? So, Monique, we were talking about you. That's what we're talking about. The hygiene, the nastiness of it all. We were talking about that because of your amazing, very informative question. So I had answered you at the top, my darling. And if you have anything, let's say you didn't see it, and that's fine. If you even have more questions in reference to your thing, if I already said it at the top, maybe I'll say it again, Monique. I'll say it again for you because you are queen of the questions. Okay, and I'll do it for you. Okay, so I will do that for you, my dear. I'm going to watch the playback. Okay. So do you guys have any questions in terms of hygiene? What is it? What is it that's bugging you? What's the practices that you see that's annoying you? What is it that you would like to know about hygiene? There's too much to know about hygiene. And so I like to get kind of specific with you. Okay. So when I'm working, sometimes I have a lot of brushes, and then sometimes I don't. I don't know. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I don't know what it is. Especially with these cases. I know I keep doing this because my case is over there. But these cases, the regular cases now that I'm not lifting it up. But the regular cases everybody seems to have now, the ones with the brush. Wait. This is my personal one. I just got makeup on it. Okay, so these. Oh, look at it now. So because of that, and because I'm quite lazy as I get older, I carry as many brushes that go in there, and then I also have an extra pack. But I also know, I'm very fortunate to know before I go how many people I'm working on. And when I first started, I think I told y'all I used to work for a photographer, Fadil Barisha, and he's Albanian. And you'd go, and I'm a makeup artist. You go into the studio, and it would be, I call it the Albanian train of models coming. So Fadil would be like, here's another one, DeShawn. Here's another one. Here's another. So sometimes I would be working for him. I had no idea how many people I'd be working on sometimes. But that was at the very beginning of my career, when you are so eager to work, you don't care how many people come across you. But yeah, I tend to carry that many for like one person, but I think we all do that. But to clean in between everybody, again, I take my time. And a lot of times you'll see, if you ever see me working, well, probably you don't know me, you never see me working. But as I know that I am finished with something, I'm done with it, I don't need it anymore, I always have Cinema Secrets on the side in a little tiny tin, not a tin cup. You know how they have it in a tin cup? I don't have it in a tin cup. I have it in, crap. I don't think I have one here. Yeah, I need my little case. If anybody knows of the lip ointment rosebud salve, okay, you know that rosebud salve comes into a little tiny tin container, right? And then you pull it apart. Well, what I normally do is have the rosebud salve over here on the table, and then that little top I put on my table, and then I take my Cinema Secrets and I just squeeze a little bit of Cinema Secrets in there to fill it all the way up. And then as I go along, I'm cleaning my brushes. And I'm so cheap. Listen, we can do how cheap, we can do a session on how can you miserly maintain your kit where you don't use up all your stuff, because your girl's cheap, okay? I don't like wasting product. I really hate it. I can show you all the things that I do with Cinema Secrets in terms of even at the end of the day when that stuff, because basically what Cinema Secrets is, if you guys don't know, it's just it's a dipping, disinfecting brush cleaner. I'll say it again. A dipping, disinfecting brush cleaner. It disinfects 99 point something of nasty. You know? And so I tend to, and it dries quickly. So you dip, you clean, you do this. So here's your brush, you dip, right? Then you come back and you take a paper towel, you wipe. Is the paper towel white? You look, no, you dip again, blah, 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 right? And then once you get it white, then you take your brush and you put it down, let it dry. It takes about maybe 5 minutes to completely dry. And so I know so when I look at my brushes, they're all clean by the time somebody gets to me, because I am cleaning my brushes as I go along. As soon as I know don't need that brush anymore, I clean it while the person's sitting there. Bah, 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 clean, 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 bah, 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 clean, 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 bang, put it down, moving on to the next phase of the face. So by the time I'm done, if I have little amount of brushes, by the time the next model, the next whomever, client, whatever, comes my way, 98 of all my brushes are clean. You see. So there's all these little tricks and tips that I do. But I use that little tiny, I cannot believe I don't have it. I use that little tiny, oh, your mother. Come on. I feel like I hear it. Oh my God. What is that? This kid. Okay. Here we go. Okay, here we go. Rosebud salve. Tinny, tin, tin, tin. DeShawn takes it apart. Now this is mine. You can tell I use it up as mine. Okay, so this is where all the salve is. This is the top that I use. So you guys get a full feeling what I'm talking about. Do you see how small that is? Do you see that? That's how, and then I take this, fill it up with Cinema Secrets, and I put it on the table. And then I'm constantly just dipping. Boom, 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 dip, boom, clean, clean, clean. And that's the amount that I use. And if I need more, I put more in. But that's what I use. I don't use those. When I first started, when I came from school, And Cinema Secrets comes with that little, what looks like a shot glass kind of cup. Then they also have like a big tin that you pour a lot in and you use. I found that to be, how can I say, counterproductive in a weird way, because you're making your brushes so wet. It's so wet. It's taking too much time to dry. It's kind of funky, kind of stinks. It's a little too much. And the other trick that I learned from my teacher, Barry Berger, is that you take your you take your, what am I trying to say? You take your Cinema Secrets, put it in your tin. This is tin. This is tin, okay? And it won't eat through this tin top. The thing about Cinema Secrets that you have to be careful of is that it can eat through plastics. So what I mean by that, it could, like you sit there, and this happened to me a lot in the very beginning because I didn't understand it. So I would pour Cinema Secrets into something and put it on the table, and then then I go back and go, there's a hole. What happened? What happened? Because it just literally just ate through whatever I was using. So it's either a glass, some type of glass that you're going to use to contain your Cinema Secrets on the table. It could be a plastic. No, I'm not going to say plastic because you don't know what kind of plastic, because it will eat through it. And then this is a tin. Does not eat through this. I mean, I have been using these tops for years. It takes me, see this whole thing, like if this was brand new for me to use on clients, this might take me about 6 months or maybe a year for just one tin to get through the entire tin. One whole year I can do faces. I can do, Jesus Christ, I can do about 200 people, just, giving them the 200 or more people with this little tin that cost me $6. You understand what I'm saying? You don't need a lot of this stuff. So I take the tin apart and put that Cinema Secrets in here, and it's safe. It does not come through. That's why I love it so much. And also, Cinema Secrets evaporates as well. So a lot of times what will happen is you guys will pour it in that big old container that it comes with, and then like 3 days later, like, hey, where's my Cinema Secrets? Because it kind of evaporates. So this method for me personally keeps it so I'm not wasting it. And the other trick about Cinema Secrets is, oh God, I can't show you. This is a part I cannot show you. So let's say if you have, again, this is all done really fast. So let's say you have like a big brush or even a bigger brush than this. You know how people, if your brushes are clean, okay? If your brushes are clean, you don't need to go in here and saturate this entire brush to clean it. You need to go zip and then like a little dick and then clean your brush. You don't need to go in and go crazy with the Cinema Secrets. I have, here's a thing. I have seen people go in and pour like that much Cinema Secrets into something, right? And then dip the entire brush into Cinema Secrets. No, you don't do that. So there's all different ways of doing it. I have methods that astound people of how I clean and how I get everything disinfected and clean and ready to go for the next person within minutes. But I just wanted to share that, like, those are the ways that you can disinfect and clean really quickly. But you come up with your own ways. This is something that I discovered well over, I don't know, if I'm 22 years in the business, I have been doing this rosebud salve trick now for 19 years. Nubian Princess says, I put Cinema Secrets in a spray bottle. I spray the bristles and wipe the brush on towel or paper towels. I know I can't deal with, me personally, I cannot spray that stuff. It gets in my sinuses. Even though the smell doesn't bother me, I can't spray it. And you know the funny thing is, back in the diggy day when Mr. Stein was alive, Maurice, I had like the great opportunity to meet him, because when I love a product, I go balls to walls. I'm a crazy cuckoo person. And I ran up to him and I was like, oh my God, I just love your Cinema Secrets. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And what was so funny was, back in the day, he said to me, Oh, I'm so glad you love it, blah, 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 blah. And then he said, well, you're not supposed to spray it. So I was like, yes, sir, we'll never spray it. And then like 12 years later, he comes out with a Cinnamon Secret spray. And I was like, but you told me you're not supposed to spray it. Why are you coming out with a spray? And I think he came out with a spray because a lot of people like to spray stuff. I think there's another cleaner. Oh my God, because I don't use that cleaner. It's like in a white paraffin, what is it? Paraffin, something that people would spray. And if they were around me, I would go, holy mother effer. So I don't tend to spray cleaners because yeah, I don't tend to spray cleaners. But if it works for you, like, hey, shit, who am I to say not to do it? It just doesn't work for me because of my sinuses and my allergies and all that stuff. I have to be real careful with sprays around me. I'm the kind of girl who can only wear so far one scent. I can't wear because I have to be careful of my allergies and stuff. My neighbor's like, you got smelling issues. I'm like, yes, I do. I have smell sensory like a dog, as the boyfriend likes to say, like a dog. Yeah, paraffin spirit is just, I can't. I was working on a fashion show. It's actually, no, it's so funny. I was working on a fashion show and it was actually being televised on Bravo. I was not the lead, but I was on the team. And one of the makeup artists had that stuff and he was going to town. And I was like, what the F is that smell? He was killing me with it. He was killing me with this parrying spirit. He was killing me. Like, man, oh man. K's, you see, look, yeah. Kev's B66, yes. Peace spirits or something like that. Yes, my dear. Yeah, it killed me. I was dying. I was dying inside, outside. I was dying. I was like, I have to get away from this makeup artist. He was just like, it was like it felt like it was a cloud of that stuff. And it just, I was like, holy mother, open a window. It was very, very strong. Very strong. Yeah. And I happen to like, I mean, in all these years, I know people, I always hear about people who say, makeup artists who say, I don't like the smell of Cinnamon Secrets. I happen to love the smell of Cinnamon Secrets, and my clients happen to love the smell of Cinnamon Secrets as well. I have never had a client say, ooh, your brushes stink. I have never, ever, ever, ever had that issue. But also, when you do clean your brushes, you just have to make sure that they're completely dry. Because again, that dipping motion that we're doing, and you're dipping it into something very deep, and you're going like this, and you're dipping it into it, that stuff is going, it's not just here now, it's going into here. It's coming down and coming into here. And that takes so long to dry. So you have to be so careful. Even when I wash my brushes by hand, which I have about, I hate to be honest, but I have about 300 brushes I have to wash, and I could cry. Help me, Jesus. But no, honestly, I really do. But when I do wash my brushes, I'm always washing this way. So the water is coming down, and I never turn my brushes this way. I always clean them this way. I always do it this way. And then when I dry them, I never just dry them flat. I don't lay them down flat. I always have some type of something that makes them kind of lean this way. So I'll put it on something. Paper towel rolls is what I normally use. The boyfriend's like, what's up with these 25,000 paper towel rolls? And I'm like, I use them as a rest when I'm cleaning my brushes. So they never, ever, ever, okay, they may every now and then, but they normally never, ever, ever, ever go, I never turn them upwards when I'm washing them when they're wet. So even when they're drying, they're on the table and they're tilted down like that to dry, because you want to make sure all of that water, all of it comes down. You never want to ever take a brush and turn it upside down when you're washing it. You never want to do that. And when you're using Cinnamon Secrets, you never want to take your brush and turn, you know, you don't clean your brush with Cinnamon Secrets, okay? Especially if you take it and you dip it into something like that, right? You don't take that brush, wipe it, and it's kind of, you know, moist or whatever to the touch. And then you take it and put it into a brush holder and turn it upside down. You don't do that because it's not dry. And what happens is that moisture is going into your brushes. And then what happens is it's dry here, but it's not dry down here. And you're doing this because this, you think this is all dry and it's not. And your clients are like, what the fuck is that smell? Because it's still in your brush. So that's, you have to be careful of all of that. That's why not dipping it so deeply is what has saved my arse all these years. So I get to disinfect and I get to have them clean within a matter of minutes. And it keeps me going. Like people always ask me, how the hell do you get so fast, DeShawn? That's one way I do it. There's a million and two ways that I go about it. You know, I always talk about increase your speed. And I am always going to talk about increase your speed because it's important. You know, so far we've had a couple of fabulous young ladies come through the DeShawn Hatcher Increase Your Speed course, and they have gone from well over an hour to 20 minutes, well over an hour. I ain't joking. To 20 minutes, because and clean and getting their kit together and being, you know, being able to the other speed thing that you have to realize is not only are you have to be fast at doing this, but if you're dealing with celebrity or you want to deal with celebrity, you have to understand how to pack your shit up and get the hell out of the room quickly. And that's the other thing that they're taught. They're taught how to pack up quickly with the quickness, you know, so it's a lot. It's so much. Hey, Sophie. Excuse me. I agree. A lot of makeup artists use way too much Cinnamon Secrets and soak the entire brush, then wonder why their brushes fall out. Exactly. And that's the other thing, is that all this is held together. These are Omnia brushes by Royal and Langnickel. I love Omnia brushes. Like, it's like an addiction. It's a problem. But yes, so these brushes are technically, these bristles are held on really by glue. And when you use a lot, you know, over time, this never happens with Cinnamon Secrets where you dip it once and then all your brush hairs fall out. But over time, you'll start to get the brush hairs when you're doing work and you're like, blah, 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 and you're like, oh, why do I have these little brush hairs? Because your brushes have become unstuck. I can't, my brain went, bloop. Your brushes have become unstuck because you are taking that Cinnamon Secrets and you're going past the ferrule. You're going a little bit past the ferrule, or you're going way past the ferrule. This is the ferrule. This whole thing is called the ferrule. So you're going too far. I never go past the ferrule. In fact, I normally clean right about here, right about there. You never go past the ferrule. And so when you do that, you're risking the moisture to go up in here. Back in the day when I was a newbie and I didn't quite understand it, I remember picking up one of my brushes, one of my bigger blush brush, and it had mold in it. It was moldy. And I said, what is that? I was like, what is that? It was mold. It was mold, okay? Because I did not clean that brush properly. I did not store that brush properly. That joint had mold in it. I was so grossed out. I was sick. I was really sick. I was like, damn, I didn't know that could happen. And it had mold in it. It was disgusting. I mean, of course, obviously I threw the brush out, but it was disgusting. So, you know, don't go past the ferrule. If you start going past that ferrule, you're going to jack up your brushes, and you can create a mold issue. You can create your hairs to come out. And then, you know, you always test it. Like when you're buying brushes, what I always tell people, especially when they're the fluffier, this is a little dense. I don't think I have a fluffy brush up here. Let me see what I have. Okay. Another one of my favorite. Oh, I love this so much. Can you tell I like brushes? I have an issue. I have an issue. I love a brush. Okay. So when you have like a fluffy brush, one of the first things I do is tug. That's one of the first things I'll do is tug on them and see if before I buy it. So let's say I'm at the makeup show or even wherever I may be, and I'm buying a brush, I will tug. Not like yank it, but I'm tugging ever so gently to see if any of those hairs are going to kind of come out. And if they do, then I do not buy the brush. I put the brush aside. You want the brushes to be well in there. You don't want to start, I remember one time, and this was such a cheap little brush, to be honest. I bought but this is at the very beginning of my career when I was broke ass. And I bought, oh, I know, I can't remember the store. It was like a little cheap store. This is the time I lived in the Bronx. And Elf had dollar brushes, basically. They were a dollar. I still have some of them. They were a dollar, for almost any kind of brush, a blush brush. It was $1, and your girl was broke. Okay. And I ran out and bought a lot of them because they were $1. And I remember one day I was working. I was doing something. I think I went to clean it with Cinema Secrets. I went to put it in Cinema Secrets to clean it. And then, you take the brush and go like this, on the paper towel. I took the brush and the whole thing came right out. Cheap ass brushes. That only happened once, and I still have some of those brushes. But that's what I'm saying. Like, this has to be really, really secure. This is one of my favorite brushes. This is a BOM 290. I feel like I'm playing bingo. But yeah, because I like this, because you can beat. This is literally beating ahead. Like, I freaking love this brush with all my power in my brain, because you could see how, I'm sorry guys, this is a new setup. I'm not used to this camera angle and anything. This is mine. Full disclosure, this is mine. So that's why it looks so jacked up. My kit would never look like this. So you see how it bends? You see that? I effing love it. And you go, bloop, 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 bloop. So it's like a real soft brush that you get to, like, I love beating the hell out of people's faces with this thing. Love this. Oh, I love this brush. And it's so soft, and it gives the prettiest blush. It's not heavy. I love this brush. I'm obsessed with this brush. S'more says, I am ready to invest in some quality professional brushes. No budget here. Oh, let me hurry up and make some brushes for you, okay? No budget. All right, listen, I got a brush set I could sell you for $1 million. Okay. No budget. I'll be happy to sell you a brush set for $1 million now. Some more. Yeah, I mean, if you like, it depends. Just because it has a high price point doesn't mean it's the greatest brushes in the world either. I don't tend to discriminate against brushes. I mean, I know like a lot of people love, I think it's called Rephr, Rephr, something like that. And they were lovely enough to give me brushes. They were lovely enough to give me a set of brushes. And I don't want to be like the bearer of bad news, but maybe they gave me a janky set. I'm not sure. Honey, them brushes, they're beautiful. But those brushes, the hairs were coming out and everything. I was like, you don't see me use them, right? I use the box. I use the box more than I use the brushes, because they have this big, beautiful white powder brush, I think it is. Honey, that thing was shedding all over somebody's face. I tell you, I could not. Hold up. I just could not deal with that. I could not. The hairs were all over the person's face. It was nasty. So yeah, but Haku Hodu, I mean, I can go on. I mean, it really does depend on some more what you're looking for. Are you looking for luxury? I got to tell you that Tom Ford, but okay, full disclosure, I'm a tad bit obsessed with Tom Ford. I happen to have a tad bit of a deep obsession with Tom Ford, because what he does, there's just something about the finishing of his products. Do you see what I'm saying? It's there's a thing to it. I go like this. It's like there's an elegance to his 98% of everything he does. There's this beautiful elegance to what he does. And so I am kind of smitten with the Tom Ford. And his brush line, if you've ever got a chance to see it up close in person, it just feels, oh, it feels like luxury in my head. And it's so pretty. It's gorgeous. That's a beautiful, but it's expensive as hell. But it's a beautiful brush line. Holy hell. Now, I need to ask people, how well does that hold up? Just because it's pretty doesn't mean it's going to hold up well. I mean, I can go on. Oh, you know who has a beautiful brush line that you might want to look at? Rae Morris. She has beautiful brushes, and they're different shapes and stuff. Gorgeous. They kind of echo NARS's in a way where some of the shapes kind of like mimic. I don't know who's mimicking who or whatever, but some of her brushes are like very, NARS has like a couple of those square brushes that come gorgeous. So Rae Morris's, and they're not particularly, they're not cheap brushes by no means, but beautiful brushes that you might want to look into. Who else is? NARS has beautiful brushes as well. You know, we can go down the poo-poo line of cosmetic company Chanel, or Chanel has beautiful brush lines. But I think it's a price point situation. I really do appreciate a beautiful brush that has a really great price point. That's why I'm so stuck on the Omnia ones, these little lovelies, and then Stilazzi. You know, guys, you know, I am the pusher, the queen pusher of Stilazzi, because when I was in California, and I remember I was in California at the makeup show, and I just said, I'm not going to buy any brushes at this show. I'm not buying any brushes. And then I went to speak to my girl at a booth, and I happened to put my hands down, and then there were all these brushes, and I was just like, and then I touched them and was, you know, and I was like, wow, these are really nice brushes. So I make no money off of Stilazzi. They pay me no money to do anything, but I just love their brushes. I love them. And by the way, Stilazzi has two different lines. They have a synthetic line that is stunning, and the price point of them are gorgeous, but they also have like a real hair line that's stepped up more and gorgeous. It's the shapes of the brushes too that you want to look into, like all those different kind of shapes and how I don't think I have it here, and how they work. And then like, hold up. This is not Stilazzi, but this is what I'm talking about. Shapes of brushes that you might want to invest in more. This is I think I talk about this brush all the time. I don't want to make sure you understand. I'm getting real close. Oh, wait, I got to be a influencer. Come on, focus. Come on, don't focus on me. Good. Move your head, DeShawn. Focus. There we go. So do you see how the little hairs are the brush is kind of cut this way, and then he has this like little, like a fro. I can't describe it. It's like a fro. This is Haiku Hodu. And this is actually the synthetic version of their brush. And I have the real hair version of this as well as a synthetic. I don't really see much of a difference between the two, but it's the shapes of them. Do you see how it cuts? And this one, this is mine, but this one, I have several for my kit. This one allows you to put like powder, even the heaviest powder, like help me, DeShawn, like a Graftobian foundation powder, because that's what I use to set lots of makeup jobs with. I don't use the fine powder things like that, Laura Mercier fine, blah, 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 blah. I normally set it with a foundation powder, okay? And the reason why I can get away with setting it with a foundation powder is because this brush And brushes like, hello, where did you go? Speak to me. And brushes like these that are so soft allows you to grab product, but it's not a dense brush. Hold up. Yeah. So it's not this is very dense. It's not a dense brush where it's going to really put a mark on it. So if I were to go in there and pull up a lot of product and put it on somebody's face, you will see it. Whereas these style would allow you to kind of go in there and really collect a lot of product. But when you go put it goes on real soft. It's not heavy. So people are like, what are you using? You using Laura Mercier? No, actually, I'm probably using this powder, which is a foundation powder to set someone's face. Okay. But it's in the brushes that allows me to do that. Okay. I can't always get away with, like, this is just too, if I'm almost finished with the makeup application, I'm not going to go in here and use something like this because it's going to ruin the whole look. I normally use here lately Graftobian's foundation powder to set makeup. Maria Jones, hi. Monique says, oh, Monique, I own one Tom Ford brush because I can't afford it. I hear you. I know. I don't have a Tom Ford brush. I'm hoping that he will hear me from afar. Tom, I'm hoping Tom will hear me from afar and say, I like that girl. I'm going to send her a whole bunch of brushes. We can all live in the land of delusion, can't we? Yeah. So, yeah, I just think I've seen it. Other people with it in their bag and like, oh my God, that's so pretty. But there's so many brush lines, but I kind of like to, I'm a mixer-upper kind of girl. I don't normally stay with one brand. I like many brands in my kit. So some are priced very high or medium, because this Haiku Hodu brush I thought cost me, I'm hot. It's hot in here. I know I had to turn my fan off when I started. I think this is $35, this one little brush. Whereas I almost feel like these three brushes from Omni are $35. Do you know what I mean? So, and then if you go and get a brush like from like the high-end companies like Chanel, or if you go get brushes from like Ring Morris or whatever. I mean, one brush from Tom Ford is probably ridiculous. And we also know we're also paying for names and so on and so forth. I like a nice high-end brush from time to time, but I have found that when I say high-end brush, I mean high-end brush from like brands like the Chanel and NARS. But Ray Morris's brushes I see hold up very well too, and they're quite costly. So it depends. Wait a minute. Why is this in her face? Get out of her thing. I have been finding a lot of, oh yes, Zova brushes in Marshalls. I don't know if they're good brushes, but I did buy some. You know what? That is a brand that's on Amazon. Yeah, there are some, like if you're starting out, like for real starting out, and you don't have the money and the funds to get the Tom Ford brushes, you might want to look on to Amazon. I mean, I was going to, I don't think I did. No, I didn't. I was going to try during the pandemic. I said, I'm going to try some of these brushes. And of course I never did. But yes, Zova is on Amazon, and they have a whole bunch of, like, you can get a whole bunch of brushes for, like, if you spend $100 on Amazon, like Zova and so on and so forth, you probably walked away with, I don't know, maybe 50 brushes or something ridiculous for like maybe $100. You will walk away with a crap load of brushes. But I have not tried them yet, so I cannot say I love a Zova. But thank you for reminding me, because I do want to try. I really do want to try it. Is Sigma good? Simone, I have some Sigma brushes. I have what's the word? A prejudice. I'm a terrible person. I'm bigoted. Okay, I'm a bigot. Because when it comes to this is my personal opinion, what I consider influencer type lines, I do not like to carry anything like that in my kit. Anything that any of them endorse is terrible. I don't like carrying influencer nothing in my kit. Nothing. And it could have been the greatest thing ever in the history of ever, and I won't put it in my kit. I'm not into that trendy stuff. I'm not into. So Sigma, even though I do have a few brushes from them, and they're good brushes. They're good brushes. I will tell you they're good brushes. But I just no. I don't like I don't like a trendy. I don't like influencer type brands. And in my head, it that's an influencer type brand to me. So yeah, that's my thing. Ooh, last looks by Carla. Hi, Carla. Hi, sweetheart. She goes, Graftobian pressed powders are amazingly pigmented. Yes, they are. And they also come in a pinch. Like the other reason why I love them so you're right. Another reason why I love them so much, Carla, is because you're right. They are heavily pigmented. So sometimes when you need to go, sometimes like if your client is on camera and you see that they just need a pop underneath the eye. Excuse me. I'm sorry, guys. So so your client needs a pop underneath the eye, not a pop, a pop of color, like a lightness. You can go in quickly with a cinema. Sean, oh, I'm brain farting. You can go in quickly with the Graftobian powder with a heavier brush. This is when the heavier brush comes in, and you could go in there and go like this and go boop, 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 and you'll get that pop that you need. Or sometimes, again, if your client is on camera, you tell them look straight to camera, or you tell them to turn their head, and you go, oh, I think they need a little bit of shadow. You go in here, boop, 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 and it goes on. And you don't have to run around and try to find a million two things to adjust your work. And it's quick, it's to the point. I love them. And they come in, I don't know how many colors they come in now. And I have to think about it. I think they have three sets of these. So there's 20, 24, I think, colors. So it's very universal. I love them. Ever since I discovered, I'm Christopher Columbus, okay? I discovered these. I love them. I really, really do. Hi, Elle. I love the brushes from Wayne Goss and Nigel's brand. Yeah, I have an issue with Wayne Goss, so good for him. Prosper. He's gonna prosper whether I like him or not. So good for him. Yeah, I'm just again, I'm not into influencer or anything. So that's just my ish. But if you love it, it looks nice. If you love it, I say have at it. Buy a million of them. But yeah, I'm just not into him. Yeah, you know how they say on Sex in the City. Yeah, he was just not that into you. That's how I feel about him. I'm just not that into him. I wish. But yeah, no. I just can't. Let me see. Elle says Sigma, Zuva, excuse me, Morphe are definitely good to start. Again, influencer brands, I don't recommend. I've never seen it. I mean, I could be wrong. I used to watch a lot of influencers back in the day. I never really seen them use a lot of the Zova. I could be wrong, but I don't think I have. Like I said, I found Zova online on Amazon. That's where I found them. I just don't remember watching. There was at the time, at the height of the influencer people, I was watching a lot of it. I'm a YouTuber. I love, not because I'm on YouTube, but I love YouTube. And so I was watching a lot of them. I just don't remember them use that. Maybe I could be wrong. There are a lot of very cheap brushes out there that you can use. Also, I don't like to, again, I'm a snob. I'm a snob. I'm telling you straight up, honey, I'm a snob. If you have Sigma, if you have, what's it, Zova, if you have Morphe, have at it. That's on you. That's do you, boo. That's what I say. I just don't do it. I like to have, here's my thing, Elle. I like to have brands in my kit, right? That my clients go, "Where'd you get that? I never heard of that." I kind of like that reaction from my clients as opposed to kind of like, oh, I have Morphe. Oh, I have, I don't like this. Sometimes I don't like that feeling. I like them to like kind of use me as almost like a discovery sort of kind of. I'm not even selling anything. It's not like I'm like, hey, I got some Omnia brushes in the back. It's not like that. But I like for me to be almost like a discovery in terms of, oh, I didn't know about that. Oh, I didn't know about that. But if they already own it, and there is a familiarity to it when you pick up something and your client goes, oh, I have that. There is that too. But I kind of like it when they go, like, every single time I whip out Graftobian foundations way before inclusion, they be like, what is that? What is that? It was cute. So I kind of like that kind of thing with my clients. I don't always like whipping out stuff that they already have. I like for them to be Christopher Columbus with me and discover things through me. I think that's where my zhuzh comes from too. So I'm not an influencer type person, but I like for them to go, oh, I never heard of that. Whereas everybody has heard of Morphe. If you follow influencers, everybody knows that, they have that and have Sigma. Yeah. Again, that's just me. I'm not a trendy type person. When I see a trend, I go the opposite way. Me no likey. But that's just me. But I know many makeup artists from all different walks of life, from fashion to this to that. They have all those types of brands in there. But again, that's you. Enjoy it. Have at it. That's just not me. Maria Jones says, my brush kit is a mix of various price ranges, anywhere from $1 on up. Maria Jones, you are speaking my language. You are speaking my language, from $1 on up. Yes. That's why I was telling you that my little cheap elf brushes that I bought those elf brushes, y'all. I was in the Bronx. That tells you that was a long time ago. I brought those elf brushes. Oh my God, 5 years. I'm adding up how long I've been in certain places. I think I bought those elf brushes about 17 years ago. And I still have a lot of them. And their lip brush, which was $1. Actually, they were 2 for $1 at this little discounted store that I had in the Bronx. And to be honest, their lip brushes, what I used to do with the lip brushes was I used to, do their lips and give them the brush because it was 50 cents. But their cheap lip brushes work so well under the eye that I would use them to like go under the eye with it. There was something about that point that they had and how soft that brush was. I love that brush. In fact, in one of my videos, I only have like 3, but in one of the makeover videos I say I'm using an elf brush to go underneath her eyes and line her eyes. I love that elf brush. I really do. I really, really do. Last Looks by Carla. Hi, Miss DeShawn. So happy to see you live. Aw, thank you for being here. Thank you all for being here. I really appreciate you guys. No, I really do, because I could be talking to myself. I could be talking to myself. What's happened to that lady on the air? She's talking to herself. You know what I'm saying? So thank you for being here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Listen, that's the whole thing is like, yo, I don't have to agree with you. You know what I mean? I don't have to agree with you. And guess what? You don't have to agree with me. And it's cool with me. It's fine with me. Because everybody has their take and everybody has their favorites, and but I will tell you when I don't like something, but it doesn't mean that you don't like it. That's how I feel about it. Y'all know how I feel. So don't forget, y'all supposed to give me thumbs up. You got to give a sister thumbs up on the thumbs up thingy. Not here, but on the thumbs up thingy, because YouTube needs to know that she's here. So we're going to do that. So do we have any more questions? Roddy! Hi, Roddy! Hi! I can't wait to rewatch this. You can't wait to rewatch the lunacy of DeShawn Hatcher. Well, welcome, Roddy. Listen, Carla, you are speaking my damn language. I wish Haku Hodu has a pro discount. Yes, maybe someday. I do too, because it's too damn expensive to me. I mean, like I said, honestly, I do believe that this, and this is the synthetic version. This is not the hair. This is not the real hair version. And this is 30 some odd dollars. I remember going to them. You get like a slight discount, I believe, at the makeup show. I believe you do. I don't think Haiku Hodu is at IMAX. I could be wrong. Um, I could be wrong. So whatever. But if you do go to the show, I normally go over because I'm cheap, I tell you. I would normally go over to Haiku Hoju to get me like a special, like it's a gift, like it's mine. And I pick up like one or two brushes. I even have like one of their beautiful, I don't think it's here, one of their beautiful white powder blush brushes. Oh, gorgeous. But again, that brush was like $50 or something. And that was like, for me, because she's cheap, I can buy 6 brushes from Omnia for that price. But it's like sometimes like the handle feels nice. And again, it's more of the shapes and the feel when you're putting on your client, that kind of thing. I love that. Let me see, what else are you guys saying? Yeah, but I agree. I do think that you get some type of discount when you're at the show. Pure joy, makeup, beauty, and life. Hey, lovely. I certainly have a brush addiction around 300. I feel you, honey. Listen, I cannot. I cannot stop it. I cannot stop buying brushes. I can't. So I'm so excited because when I'm done in here, I have, like I said, I have like a mountain of crap right here. You cannot see it because I'm hiding it from you. But I also have a chest of drawers over here, and I'm so excited because I'm going to trick out the chest of drawers. I just want a drawer brush now. Back in the day, you saw I hung them up, and that's cute too. That's really quick. The way I hung them up, I think it's on my YouTube channel. So the way I hang them is really cool. But now I just want them in a drawer. And so we'll see if that works. It might irritate me. I might stop. But yeah, I'm gonna trick out my drawer and put them in a drawer. I just want to open up a drawer and go, ooh, yeah. And I don't even know if that drawer is big enough to hold all my brushes. To be honest, I don't really think so. I have too many brushes. I love Carla. Carla says, last looks. Carla says, they are so precious. I agree. They really are. They really are. They're like, ooh, 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 ooh. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. We need to start a brush. We need to start a brush addiction. I, DeShawn, hand on the grab Toby. I, DeShawn Hatcher, am addicted to brushes. Like, really, that's how much I can't. Every single time I say I'm not gonna, every single time I say I'm not going to buy a brush, I'm not going to buy a brush this time. I'll buy a brush. I break my own rules. Alrighty, says Haiko Hodo makes a huge deal about giving free shipping. It's the most they do. They are the Chanel of brushes. Are they really? Do they think that they're Chanel of brushes? Then damn, I go to Chanel. Okay. No, but they are beautiful brushes. They are beautiful brushes. What can I say? Some more. That's a good question. Some more asked a really good question. Would you use hairspray to set makeup? How can I say this without sounding cuckoo crazy? Yes. You know what? That's just old school. All that is old school. To be honest, that's old school. Like if you are stuck in on a shoot, and for some reason you don't have setting spray, you're doing hair and makeup, and you don't have some setting spray, and you like, oh hell, what am I gonna do? You do the drag queen setting spray, which is hairspray. That's I'm sorry, I'm fixing my pillow. That's an old makeup trick. That's old. That's like old. Like that's like way before I was even born trick. Like that's that's an old, because there's so many setting sprays now, you don't have to do that. But if you did not have setting spray. Yes, you can. You can in a pinch. Not always, not forever, but it's just an old school drag queen thing that they did, and they still do. They still use hairspray as a setting spray. Uh, yeah, they still do that. But again, I don't do it all the time. It's an old school method of doing something. Now there's just too many setting sprays to have to be whipping out hairspray. Do you know what I mean? But yes, in a pinch, like God forbid something happened and your kit fell, you had your kit, it fell, and all your contents fell out, and your setting spray fell out, and you're like, oh, my setting spray, but I have hairspray. I'll spray some hairspray. Yes. Just make sure they hold their breath, but only in a pinch, only in like one of those wackadoo pinches. I mean, back in the day, remember I started before Google, and I started with, I started with a lot of old school makeup artists, which I'm very grateful for that I started with the old people. When I say that, like old people in terms of years of being in the business, like my teacher, he was in the business maybe 30 years before I even got here. You know what I mean? Like he's been in the business that long. And so he would teach tricks and tips, old school, I can't say it tonight, tips and tricks. And then also, I have known over the years several drag performers, that kind of thing. I've learned many things from them. That they're just amazing. I've been very privy to like little secrets. So it's not really a secret. I mean, everybody knows it, but I had been privy to a lot of ways. And also my background is more film than it was fashion at one point. And so there's a lot of things that you do in film that you don't do in fashion. Things like that. So yes. Would I? Yes. But not all the time. No, I would not be like pulling out like Aquanet. I wouldn't do it. But in a pinch, only if like God forbid something happened and I didn't have my setting spray for some weird reason. Yes, I would. But you also have to be careful of the spray, the hairspray, because there's some hairsprays that are kind of heavy and watery. And there's some, like you really do need something like an Aquanet that unfortunately has a lot of alcohol in it because it dissipates really fast and whatever, and it will set really well. But you have to be careful of the hairspray, like that L'Oreal one that's from France. That one that's stunningly beautiful. I cannot remember the name of it. Everybody has it. I used to carry it in my kit. I wouldn't take that and spray it on somebody's face because that has like some type of, it has some type of alcohol, but also has some type of oil in it too, to give that beautiful, shiny, glossy look. So you have to be careful about what you're spraying as well, So you do have to know what the hell you're doing. Like I said, I've been privy to amazing people who do amazing things. So Pure Joy Makeup and Beauty says to some more, back in my day, we used hairspray as a setting spray. Yeah. Maria Jones says, oh, DeShawn, the name of the brush cleaner machine is called Brush Stock. I think I've seen that. I'm sometimes just old school. Like I don't even really care for those pads with the ticka on it. I don't really care for those because I have noticed that what am I trying to say? The silicone pad. I have noticed how hard people press on them to get the makeup out because you see it and you feel like you have to like really press on your brushes to clean it. And so again, as we discussed earlier in the show, is like when you're cleaning, it depends on the style of brush. So if you have one of those, if you have one of those tick mats and you're cleaning, most people press really hard. I've seen it. They press really hard. And now what's happening is on that matte thing, it's all foamy and soapy. Now what's happening is you're taking it and you're pressing the water into here. See, that's why I don't like those types of things. And it's not that I don't like those types of things. It's that I think people in their minds think they have to press really hard to get their makeup brushes clean. The only time you have to press really hard to get, like, listen, we're professionals. Our makeup brushes shouldn't be that filthy, to be honest. Now, our personal brushes are probably disgusting. But our professional brushes should be clean, right? See, that's what I'm saying. We don't have to work so hard to clean our brushes. We really don't. That's why we can clean 300 brushes in like a couple of hours, because they're not that dirty. Only the foundation, because I'm a cream foundation person, only my foundation brushes require a really, like, oh God, I really got to get in there and start, like I take a little Dawn, and I take the Dawn and I clean it with Dawn. And I use my hand, prefer to use my hand, and I don't rub and scrub them like I see people, again, influencers, because that's what I'm seeing online. You know what I mean? Because we never see a professional wash brushes. We see influencers wash brushes. So when they're washing, I see them. It's like, da, 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 da. I'm like, no, that's too hard. Don't press too hard. So that's one of the reasons why I'm not really crazy about all those, because you can damage your brushes. And since I am such a brush whore, I don't want to damage my brushes. Oh, she loves her brushes so much. Let me see. Pure Jermaine, yes, old school, way before setting spray. Yes, honey, old school. Well, yeah, what is that? E-net. I think that's what's saying. Got people smell. Well, that's the thing about it, is like, once you spray like Aquanet on somebody, first of all, you know how they do today. See, there's a difference. There is a tad bit of a difference in the way that I see people using setting spray today versus old school setting spray, drag queen way of setting spray. One is because right now, basically what's happening in women's makeup today, or trendy influencer makeup today, when they put it on the way they put it on, they kick it on, you really do need a lot of powder and such to set it, or it's just going to slide all over the place. And so what you see today is a caking on of powder, and then they take a spray and they like spraying the hell out of the face now, and it's kind of like sticking, which is should, but they're using so much setting spray. When you're using Aquanet, you are certainly not going to go in there and spray it to the point where it is like watering down something. So you can't use them in the same fashion. You just kind of spray it on. That's the difference. You can't use like an Aquanet in a pinch like you would use Scandinavia type things that I see today, or Max Fix thing. I still have never used that. Max Fix Plus, whatever you call it. You can't use Aquanet in the same way that you use that stuff. You can't. The person that you've sprayed the Aquanet on in that matter will fall out dead. It's just too much. You can't use it that way. So you just have to be super, super, super careful. In like, again, there is the influencer way of doing makeup, there is the YouTube way, and there's the Instagram way, and that's cool and it looks beautiful, but that's not like technically, I say it this way, is not real world, because you have to be so careful in the amounts of stuff that you apply and how you apply it. It also depends on the type of makeup artist you are. If you are, as we always talk about, beat tours, if you're a beat tour, who's a B-tour? Like not Remy. What's his name? Is it Remy? Rennie. So Rennie, I would consider more of a beat tour, right? He likes a lot of makeup. He has a lot of makeup on the face, which is fine. Nothing wrong. His makeup's stunning. Okay. So now you have somebody like a Rennie, but he also has the ability to match face to neck, and he does a beautiful job. But then you also have the people who don't care about matching. Then I can go on. Forget it. I can go on and on. It's long. I swear to God, it's too long to discuss. But yes, you would not use your Aquanet in the way that you would use Scandinavia or Mac Fix Plus or anything like that. You cannot do that. Let me see. Yeah, Pure Joy makeup, exactly. She says we also used it for the eyebrows. Yes, I still do them. That I will do. Because this is not Again, this. I'm using props because I have nothing around me. But yes, when I am working and I have to do hair and makeup, I have big bottles of hairspray, and then I have little mini bottles of hairspray. And yes, you got diggy daggy right. I will take a spoolie and I spray the spoolie with hairspray, and I take it and put it in the eyebrows. Yes, I do. To this day, yes, I do. Yes, it works perfectly. That is training from film days that I learned. And that's training when I was a kid, not a kid, but like when I was in my teens. Well, I guess it's kid. When I was a kid, and when they didn't have all these hair pomades and all that stuff. Yes, that's what you use. You do. It's all that. Listen, people, I don't want to blow your minds with this, but the gel pomades are what you put in your hair. All of that stuff is for the hair. I know that people think it's some special product that fell out of the sky and was just invented for eyebrows. No, a lot of that stuff is hairspray. A lot of that stuff is a gel that you use in your hair, except they just market it to your eyebrows. That's all that is. That's all it is. So I tend to use that stuff too. So if there's a pomade or something like that, normally I have that, because if I am doing hair and makeup, I just normally reach in and just let me do it that way. Sophie, I love my brushes too. But yes, pure joy, makeup, and beauty and life. Yes, I agree. I totally agree with you. So some more asked me, under what circumstances would you not set foundation with powder? Depending on the look, it depends. It depends. If I'm doing an editorial, if I'm doing fashion, then a lot of times I didn't set the makeup. A lot of times I didn't set it. Depends on what am I trying to do here. Remember, fashion is illusion and whatever. Maybe I wanted her to be greasy and dewy and whatever. I might not set it. I might not set it with powder. There's a lot of times in fashion I didn't set a lot of my makeup with powder. I just let her be. And a lot of times what I would do is if I thought she was a little too shiny, I wouldn't powder her. I would just blot her to take the shine down. So again, if it's fashion, you do whatever the hell you want to get the illusion that you want. But if it's a real person or it's a bride or something like that, then you really do have to be careful. Remember, fashion is of the moment when you're working. So what I mean by that is when you're working in fashion and you're doing the model, you're doing it for that one picture per se, right? So when they're done, you might have to change the whole look. So it's not like it's not like you have to make try it again. It's not like you have to make the makeup last like you would like a bride or something like that. And because your job as a fashion person is to physically stand there and fix anything that you see wrong at any given time, again, brides will go away from you. They walk away from you. They're not near you. So, even celebrities, we're working with celebrities, they're not near you. So you have to set that makeup. The makeup has to stay. It has to last. In fashion, you are physically standing there and fixing it and checking the monitor and fixing it, that kind of thing. So there's a difference in how you're working. So there you go. And then some more goes, and how would you do that? We use setting spray. Again, fashion, no. I don't think, have I ever not powdered somebody for regular work, for regular like a press junket or something like that? No, I've always powdered people for press junkets and red carpet. They're always powdered. They may not even look powdered, but they are powdered. There's powder on them. Like a couple of years ago, I worked on Lauren Velez. Luna, her name is Lauren, but Lauren Velez. And I did a super clean look on her for a red carpet thing. I think she was in Shaft. And a lot of people say to me, "Oh, I loved her makeup. It was just so clean." And it looks like there's like barely anything. First of all, she's great skin. But yeah, I barely did much to her. And also, honestly, some more depends on the person's skin type. How well are they oily, messy like me? Then they do need powder. You can't get away from it. You have to do the whole thing of the powder and the I'm trying to say the powder and the primers, you know, kind of thing, to keep it as matte or as velvety matte as possible. And then there's some people, you know, you don't have to do that too. So it depends on the person as well. There's a lot to it. And yes, I would use a setting spray. Whenever I do press junkets and stuff like that, yes, I will use the setting spray in a press junket type situation, red carpet, press junket. Yes, I would use a setting spray. But again, a setting spray does not mean that I'm mattifying somebody's look. It just means I'm trying to keep the makeup in place. So there are mattifying setting sprays now, and then they're just like straight up setting sprays. So it depends on what you're trying to do. I tell y'all, for red carpet, for performers, for that celebrity dumb thing that I do, I really do, honest to God, love that Graftopian stuff. Man, oh man, Ashevitz, does that stick? It is like using a hairspray, though. That's how I kind of feel about it. It feels and smells very old school, like a hairspray, and it really does. It does last. It sticks, and that joint ain't going nowhere. So that's why I use that. Even on somebody who has super clean skin, I will whip that out and go, because you can't spray too much on a person. They'll faint from the fumes. So that's it. So that's what I do. So beautiful people, we're an hour and a half because I missed you last week. I'm sorry I missed you last week. Your girl was trapped upstate. But yeah, so as always, we got jumping off with Monique's question about hygiene. If you guys have any questions, you would let me know what they are, and then I can have a show and a tell here. I can show you what I'm doing and all that stuff. And that way, the reason why the community board is so important and asking me questions in advance is so important is because sometimes I have to show and tell you things that I am not prepared to do right now. I'm not prepared to show and tell because I didn't know these questions were coming up, kind of thing. And a lot of times what I do is I try to have stuff around me so I can pull it out and show you. You know what I mean? But I don't always have that. And so sometimes it just would be helpful for me if you ask me a question in advance. I have it set up like a class, baby, okay? And then we'll do it that way. So anyway, don't forget to give a girl a thumbs up because she's out of here. She got to get something to eat. She hasn't eaten all day. And I will see you guys next Sunday. Thank you for coming by. Everybody. And then that's it. That's all I got to say. Y'all have a good night. I'm going to make me some dinner. I'm hungry. Bye, guys. Thank you. Thank you, Monique, for always bringing them questions, girl. Thank you. Have a good night, guys.